Alright, so James Gunn has made his DC SLATE announcement. Let's watch it and react.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time.
Yep.
And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected.
Yeah, so I like that he's acknowledging this because there has been so much disparate stuff in the DC universe recently. Last 10 years you've had the CW verse, you've had the Batman stuff, you had the Chris Nolan stuff before that, you've got the direct-to-DVD animated stuff, you had the HBO Max Titans and Doom Patrol, and then you had the DCEU, but then the disconnected DC films like Joker and the Batman. It's so much stuff, and to come in and have to fix all of that and kind of make it make sense, not just in continuity makes sense, like MCU style, but also just for branding to make sense, like how many different properties are there going to be? How many different actors are there going to be? Why should we have two Supermans? Why should we have two Batmans? It's a tough task, so I'm glad that he's acknowledging it.
In film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds.
I like this. This is what the comics do. I like that they're going to be labeling it DC Elseworlds. I think there should literally be a logo where it should be like DC Studios, DCU, DC Studios, Elseworlds. I think that that's really clever, and I wonder how far they'll go. Will they put it on everything? I think that they should.
Outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves direct.
Interesting how they're like, these can coexist. He's not really saying, is it going to be canon to his DCU, or is it just like, it can be there and then we'll figure it out later. I think it's more the second one.
Directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe.
Interesting. So they've been saying this for a while now, that The Flash, which I'm so excited for, is going to in continuity reset like Flashpoint style, because Barry goes back in time and changes stuff, the actual DC timeline. But it was made before Gunn even came on, and even the reshoots he had just started. So I wonder, is the reset that he wants? Are they going to find a way to justify how that reset leads into the new DCU that he's doing? That should be really interesting to see, because it's an opportunity to use that to do an in-continuity explanation for why is there suddenly a new Superman actor and stuff like that.
Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then
I like that he's using the word marvelous in a DC presentation. Blue Beetle's going to be awesome. I love the character, and it looks really good.
Into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So,
I like that he's saying all the 2023 movies lead into. He's not really saying how, but he's like, they lead in.
Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming.
Let's see.
This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first.
I love that they're giving the chapters names. I love that. That's so cool.
First chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos.
Fair.
Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC.
Okay, straight up, I love that he's just off the bat starting with the weird stuff. I love that. Okay, it's so James Gunn. And so this must have been the secret TV project he's writing, because he just said he's written all the episodes. Interesting. Very cool.
Is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis.
Viola Davis is staying. Yes! Okay, this is awesome. So it's not a full reset. It is not a full reset. Not everyone's being recast. And I gotta say, Viola Davis is just magnificent. as Amanda Waller, so it's so good to see her staying.
Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did
watch Peacemaker. So it looks like this is a spin-off and a continuation of Peacemaker. That's really cool.
Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see.
Really good talent.
Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
Good name. Really, really good name. Interesting that that's the name of the first one. You'd think Superman Legacy would be like the third movie in the trilogy or something, but this is a good name. I didn't like rumors flying around it was going to be The Superman. That sounds really weird. Or The Man of Steel. Like, that's just dumb.
This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
Wow, so they're giving release dates, and that's a while away, so 2025, and this will probably be one of the earliest ones, so a lot of the other stuff, is probably going to be later. I think Gunn really cares about this project, which is why he's so hands-on and he's writing it as well. It'll be interesting to see who directs it, but this is really important. If this works, I think everything works, and if this doesn't, oh no.
Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story.
Wow. So I wonder, is this different to the Green Lantern core TV show that was happening?
We have a couple of Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over.
This is amazing. This is great. So I assume this is going to replace what was going to be Green Lantern core. This is awesome. Green Lantern, they failed so badly last time, so it's really important because he's a core part. He's a core part of the DC universe. So I hope they get this right, but DC going into Galactic, going into space, this is a very good move. I love it.
Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm character.
The Authority is a real kind of fringe but fantastic comic book, and real kind of, it takes a different spin. It is very much a deconstruction. I love that they're leaning into this kind of stuff. This is like a Guardians of the Galaxy Suicide Squad vibe, like, not thematically, but in the form that nobody knows who they are, I think, in the popular consciousness. Only comic book fans really know. But I think if they do this right, I wouldn't be surprised if this one's rated R. Yeah, this is very cool. Wow. I did not expect that, to be honest.
We are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace.
That's awesome. See how they're weaving this tapestry of different genres? I love that. It's so DC. I wonder if this will be the Zack Snyder, Patty Jenkins Themyscira, and if they'll bring back any of the actors and actresses. But this is really cool. I love that they're doing this, because this brings in that genre of the kind of ancient Game of Thrones vibe. Very nice.
Of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run.
Oh my god, this is the best. Okay, so not Robert Pattinson, new Batman, and Robin. Robin hasn't been in movies in forever, but he's so core. Oh, this is great. The Grant Morrison comic book Batman run is just, it's phenomenal. I'm so glad they're doing this. This is a big win. I have full faith now. This has convinced me. This is amazing.
Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU.
Bat family. We have not had live-action Bat family ever. The closest we got was 1997, and that wasn't great. This is so important. Batman as a father with Damian, Batman and the extended Bat family, that's core to a good DC universe. So again, full faith.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him.
Booster
It is basically
Gold,
the superhero
baby.
story of imposter syndrome on an
I love Booster Gold. This is a great character. He's so funny as well. I'm so glad they're leaning into the weird and wonderful parts of the DCU. This is awesome.
HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Amazing comic book, by the way. Tom King did great stuff with Batman and Superman, but the Supergirl series was just phenomenal.
And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film.
Supergirl movie.
Superman is...
And I love that he's actually just like straight up adaptation. Straight up adaptation of the comic. I love that. I love that. And so this must have been the secret project that Tom King was brought in for. Oh, I love that.
It's a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl, in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched...
I wonder if it'll be Sasha Cal's Supergirl or a new one. This is probably a whiles away, so they might not know yet.
Everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about. A very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing.
That's bold.
And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly...
This is amazing. I love this slate. It's very different, but they've got the core. They've got the Batman, Superman there, and the Bat family, and some very interesting moves. And I love that there's an equal amount of kind of TV and film love and some animation. That's awesome.
Important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something.
I love his passion. It really comes through, and it's so important to have someone that's not only passionate that much about it, but knows the characters, cares about them, and is creatively invested. He's not there just to be a business guy. He's there because he knows this stuff. He reads it. He lives and breathes it. He reads the comics. Like, this is it. This is the best.
Very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers...
See, this is something WB's struggled with a lot. So Warner Brothers looks like finally they can fix their stuff up with DC Studios just being a separate thing that James Gunn can get right. I love this, putting directors and writers at the center and giving them their real vision. So important. And I think important for a DC that's going to have different tones and vibes to each movie, that can help it flourish, rather than being very monotonous like another cinematic universe. I won't say which.
All of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before.
That's awesome.
Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
That was awesome. That was a great slate announcement. I think he did a really good job. Again, I think the way they filmed it and designed it was really good. And in terms of the actual substantial content, yeah, I think they got the core stuff right, and they've brought in enough different stuff to make it really interesting, unique, and diverse to bring in lots of different viewership. We've yet to actually see anything yet that's been made, but it sounds like they are 100% got the right vision. I am very excited for the new DCU, and for the current DCU to morph into the new DCU. I'm very excited for this year's films, and it's going to be good times for DC fans, man. Very good times. Alright, I'm going to make a separate video that's a deeper dive into the different articles that have been published, but this is my first reaction and awesome stuff. Alright, subscribe for more videos on comic books, DC stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.